What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. Hope you guys are having a good day today. And on today's show, we're going to look at some make or break candidates for 2023. Now, I use that term make or break pretty loosely. It's not a one-size-fit-all, but I'll explain that as we get to each player because it's a bit of case-by-case basis here. But let's start with our first candidate, and that is Nick Chubb. Now, don't leave the video just yet. Just kind of hear me out for a second, because you might come around to what I'm saying by the end. But Nick Chubb is going to be turning 28 years old after the 2023 season. He's 27 right now. Now he's got 2 years left on his contract, 2023, this upcoming season, and 2024. Now his cap hit for for 2024 is $16.2 million. That's a pretty big cap hit for anyone that's not a quarterback or an edge rusher, right? $16.2 million is going to take up a decent percentage of the team's salary cap. Now, this is not a Nick Chubb is about to fall off a cliff and he's going to have only one good season and then they're cutting him guaranteed. No, this is the fact that we have to at least acknowledge the possibility of Nick Chubb, who will be 28 years old, maybe slowing down, and the Browns looking to save some money to the tune of a $16 million cap hit, because we have had our fair share of recent fall off. So Ezekiel Elliott in 2021 averaged 4.2 yards a carry. This past season, 3.8. Dalvin Cook went from 4.7 to 4.4. Now, Nick Chubb is not in this because he's falling off. I just wanted to show you the comparison of Zeke and Cook, who kind of fell off, compared to Chubb, who's still, by the way, I'm having bunny ears up on the screen, down season, 5 yards a pop. He's never averaged below than 5 yards a carry in his NFL career. But it does go to show that our heroes of yesterday don't always last in the NFL. And that's very true for running backs. Now, if the Browns see a downfall coming, if Nick Chubb does not have a spectacular 2023 season, and he looks like he lost a step, and he has sort of a Kareem Hunt regression, if you will, the Browns are going to think about this, because there are $12 million of cap savings to be had, and only $4 million in dead cap if they were to move on from him next year before June 1st. You take that with the Browns being negative $59 million in cap space, according to Over the Cap for 2024, they will have to look to different places to cut corners and save money. That's just the reality of having a super expensive quarterback in Deshaun Watson, which, hey, you're not going very far in the NFL without a very good quarterback, and you have to pay good quarterbacks. So this is not a blame it on Deshaun thing. This is just the way the NFL operates now if you want to be at the top of the mountain. Ultimately, I think Nick Chubb is going to stay on this roster for 2024 because I don't think he's going to have a big enough drop-off to warrant Cleveland moving on from him after this year. I still believe and hope he'll be above 5 yards a pop, but the $16 million cap hit is definitely something that's going to be eye-popping and going to be a topic of discussion for Cleveland if Chubb does have a regression in 2023. So that's why I have him on here as a make-or-break candidate, because he has to show the front office he is worth that $16 million cap hit in 2024. There could be a restructure of some sorts. That stuff's always a possibility. But for now, I've got him down as a make-or-break candidate. Now, speaking of Nicholas Jamal Chubb, he is a top blank in the NFL. Fill in the blank for me. For me, he's top 3. Right? He's right there with Derrick Henry. I think Josh Jacobs is a tad overrated. This is completely separate. He was a flash in the pan last year. Give me Nick Chubb over Josh Jacobs any day of the week. Moving on to my second make-or-break candidate, and it is similar to Nick Chubb. It's Wyatt Teller. Now, this one's a little bit different because it's got a better balance of contract-related issues and then just overall production and skill level of where he is at in his career. Now, last year, PFF ranked him as the 18th best offensive guard, so he's still a very good guard, right? We're talking about one of the better guards in football. Overall grade of 70.3, but when you look at what Wyatt Teller has done in his career, he definitely peaked in 2020, at least in the eyes of PFF, 92.7. A slight step back again in 2021, but still 84.9 is very, very good. But you can see how the mountain went up and now it's starting to go down. And so if he's starting to slip a little bit, could he be next offseason's J.C. Treader? That's why 2023 is so important for Wyatt Teller, because he has to remind the Browns that he was worth that extension he got, and they should not move on from him after this season. Because Cleveland, similar to Nick Chubb's situation, is going to have to move on from some guys to get out of the red. And Wyatt Teller will surely be an option, right? He's got a $16.9 million cap hit. If they were to move on from him after June 1st, so they could split the dead money over 2 years, $2.9 million dead cap hit in 2024, 4.7 in 2025, and $14 million in cap savings. That's $4 or $5 million more than they got with John Johnson this year. So it's a very realistic, very real option here for Cleveland. If it's another down-ish season for Wyatt Teller, I could see him being a cap casualty, right? They drafted center Luke Whippler out of Ohio State this past draft. They've got Nick Harris, who's been working at guard a little bit. Maybe like J.C. Treader, they go, we don't think these guys are better than Wyatt Teller, but for $16 million in cap savings, we can't pass that up. Because there are some players out there who have big cap hits in 2024, right? They're not moving on from Watson or Garrett or Denzel Ward this quickly, but Amari Cooper, Wyatt Teller, Nick Chubb, and David Njoku, they all have big cap hits for 2024. And they need to go out and prove in 2023 they are worthy of staying on Cleveland's books. We're going to get to my other make or break candidates for this season in just a brief moment, but we are doing a bit of a race right now with our Ravens channel to the next 1,000 mark for subscribers. Now, unfortunately, they've got a bit of a lead on us here as we have crossed 20,000 subscribers and they're still pedaling around 9,000 subscribers. So we've lapped the Ravens rundown, but I would love to just beat them once again. So if you hate the Crows, if you hate the Ravens, and you want Browns content, hey, go ahead and subscribe. My third make or break candidate is Grant Delpit. Now, he is a completely different bucket compared to Nick Chubb and Wyatt Teller, right? He's not getting cut after this season or anything like that. No, Grant Delpit, on the other hand, the former second-round pick out of LSU, is entering the final year of his rookie contract. Now, he comes off a largely successful, I would say, 2022 campaign. That's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Very positive ending, how about that, to last season, where slow start, but he ended the year on a really high note and more than just like a 3-week span or something like that. Now, Cleveland already gave out a decent contract to safety Juan Thornhill, 3-year, $21 million, and $14 million of that is guaranteed. So are the Browns going to be looking to ink up 2 safeties, or could they move on from Grant Delpit, draft a safety, and get one on his rookie contract and repeat the cycle and have Juan Thornhill be the only guy making some serious cash? Now, through 2 seasons so far for Delpit after missing his rookie year, you can see the jump he had from 2021 to 2022 when he took over Ronnie Harrison's role. He led the team in tackles with 105, 4 interceptions, 10 pass breakups. Delpit struggled with communication issues early on, but he really rebounded in the second half of 2022. So he finds himself, or the Browns rather find themselves, in a bit of a unique situation. If Delpit has a phenomenal breakout Pro Bowl caliber season, he's going to get more than Juan Thornhill got last year. And the Browns are likely going to be priced out of his market in free agency, kind of similar to Donovan Peoples-Jones. But if he's right in that median where he's not on a lot of other teams' radars and he's not the unanimous top 3 or 5 safety in free agency or something like that, maybe he could end up coming back to Cleveland on a team-friendly 1-2-year contract. But he is definitely in a unique spot here where this is a big year for him for his own self and his own wallet as he enters a contract season, and also for the Browns' future here because who knows if the Browns are going to prioritize him or not in free agency. Now, we have more breakout candidates to check out in just a second, but the Browns Polos deal continues to go on, and do not miss out. When you go to chatsports.com/BrownsPolo, well, you can get not only one of these awesome Browns polos, and I say that in the color, but you can also get a white colored Browns polo. That link's in the comments and the description of today's show, so be sure to check it out. My fourth make or break candidate is Greg Newsome. That's right. So Newsome is a guy that probably got way too much criticism this past offseason because it was either Newsome or a wide receiver in a trade, and people were quick, and I was probably guilty of it myself, to pile on Greg Newsome because it looked like he was standing in the way of getting Jerry Jeudy or some other great wide receiver. But now that he's staying in Cleveland, let's remind ourselves, Greg Newsome is a very good cornerback. He might not be a cornerback that if we do a redraft in 10 years, goes round number 1, but I think he has a future in the NFL, and it's a future with him starting in it. Now, Greg Newsome had a average rookie season, I would say. 9 pass breakups, no interception, PFF grade of 68.1. I always say for PFF, for the overall grades, add 10, and that's like your school grade. So C plus as a rookie, that's not too shabby as a cornerback in a very difficult spot to play in the NFL. Now, Greg Newsome recently did a great interview with the Orange and Brown Report, and I wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys here. This year, I feel like I just have to prove to myself exactly where I feel like I'm supposed to be, and I just think that is one of the best in the league. I just feel like I have to do it game in and game out. Stay consistent. Just proving to myself that I am the type of player that I'm expected to be, especially after coming in strong rookie year. And then I feel like last year, obviously, position-wise and things like that, kind of maybe took a little bit of a step back, I feel like, but just got to get back to where I was. I'm just going to continue to grow. So what is Greg Newsome on this list for? He's playing for his 5th-year option because the Browns will have to make that decision after 2023. And if he has a season kind of like last year, they're probably not going to pick it up because his projected 5th-year option, this is early, so it could change, but it's going to be in the neighborhood of $12 million. And Greg Newsome has not looked like a $12 million cornerback you would sign in free agency, but there's still a lot of reason to believe in entering year 3 and hopefully getting out of the nickel position and getting him back to an island on the outside where he was very comfortable in during his time in Evanston. He can be a future CB 1 or 2 for this team long term. So what do you guys think? Will Greg Newsome have a breakout year? Is he going to show to Andrew Berry and the rest of the front office he is someone worthy of a 5th-year option? Or is he going to be a 4 and done in Cleveland after being a first-round pick? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. 5th and final make or break candidate is Cade York. Now, Cade York, the kicker, is in a different pool than other players entering year 2 because kickers, they're not guaranteed much in the NFL. Teams will move on from kickers after one bad game. So Cade York knows the pressure is on after last season when he went 22 for 30 and one of the league lower 73.3 field goal percentages. And he also missed some untimely extra points as well. If Cade York does not bounce back in 2023, simply put, he will not be the kicker in 2024. This regime is not going to stand by Cade York for 2 seasons of 75-ish field goal percentage. It's just not going to happen in the NFL. You don't have that long of a leash as a kicker. 1 season is kind of as long as it gets. If you have a bad year, 2 straight years, Audi 5000. So for Cade York, he has to show Cleveland he is this franchise's next Phil Dawson, their next kicker for the decade. So let's show the guy some love. I know I just put a ton of pressure on him. No big deal or anything, Cade York. But hey, we got your back. I'm a big fan of the Yorker. Joshua Miller is as well. Spam 3 down in the comment section below if you are behind Cade York and you want to get some positive mojo going for this team's kicker. Now, the moment producer Rolly has been waiting for, our pick a card time to wrap up the show. No producer has gotten a card correct. Rolly, is that changing today?
It is, because I saw a vision, and I'm very confident with this one.
Yep.
The last time I was on, I wasn't even close, but this time I'm nailing it with the 8 of spades.
8 of spades. Yeah,
I just feel so confident.
Last time you foul-tipped into the netting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Heads up. I'm going to go with a queen of spades.
Oh, so we're both in the spades category.
Both
I'm going
spades
8. You're going queen.
All right, one last cut for good measure.
I actually don't hate the queen of spades, and I don't like that. Come on, one time.
I was thinking this. 10 of clubs.
Oh.
I know no one believes me, but I was thinking 10 of clubs. Damn it. Okay. That is it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like the video, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we're going to see everyone later.